A corporate credit card policy outlines employees' guidelines regarding issuing and using company credit cards. The policy aims to ensure responsible use of company funds, prevent fraud and abuse, and maintain accurate financial records while upholding the commitment to safety and ethical conduct. This policy applies to all PayAssu Energy employees, including managers and executives, who are granted and assigned a corporate credit card. The conditions outlined in this policy govern the responsible use of and procedures for PayAssu credit cards to conduct PayAssu business. The use of credit cards is accompanied by significant responsibility. Permanent supervisors or managers of a business unit or department may be eligible to apply for a corporate credit card. A corporate credit card request with a recent credit report must be submitted to the general manager. Only one corporate credit card will be issued per approved employee or department. To be eligible for a corporate credit card, an employee must meet at least two of the following criteria. They frequently travel as part of their job duties, significant volumes of goods and services are purchased and used, incurs regular expenses usually paid by credit card for completing job duties or otherwise conducting PayAssu business. PayAssu Energy employees who meet the following criteria will be issued company credit cards, have a demonstrated need for a company credit card to perform their job duties, such as travel for site visits, purchasing equipment and supplies, or client meetings. Have satisfactory employment history, demonstrating adherence to safety protocols and company values. Have completed the required training on this policy and related procedures. Are approved by their supervisor and the finance department. PayAssu Energy will issue credit cards, such as Visa or MasterCard. The finance department is responsible for issuing and managing company credit cards. Credit limits will be determined based on individual job responsibilities and spending needs. Each corporate credit card shall be limited to a maximum as predetermined by the general manager for business expenditure. Exemptions to this limit will be made on a case-by-case basis only. Employees granted company credit card use are strictly prohibited from using points accrued from credit card use for personal purchases. Any accumulated points will be used for approved company purchases only. The use of corporate credit cards to obtain cash advances is strictly prohibited. The corporate credit cards are for conducting PayAssu business only. Under no circumstances can personal expenses be charged to a corporate card. The PayAssu Finance Department will monitor card transactions to ensure compliance. Company credit cards may be used for business-related expenses only, including travel expenses like airfare, hotels and transportation for business purposes, business meals and entertainment related to company projects or client interactions, fuel and maintenance for company vehicles, safety equipment and supplies, office supplies and equipment, expenses related to site development, maintenance, remediation, and reclamation projects, and other expenses directly related to the employee's job duties and approved by their supervisor. Acceptable purchases for corporate credit card use include payment or deposits for goods and services in whole or in part, memberships and subscriptions, conference fees, postage fees and other courier express services, operating supplies for conducting PayAssu business like toner software and general office supplies, and minor equipment purchases. Company credit cards may not be used for personal expenses like groceries, clothing, or personal entertainment. They also can't be used for cash advances, gifts for personal use, illegal activities, expenses that violate safety protocols or environmental policies, or any other expenses not directly related to business needs. Unacceptable purchases for corporate credit card use include private and/or personal expenses, payment of travel expenses when the employee has chosen to receive reimbursement via the per diem method, outlined in the travel expense guidelines, and approved rates, withdrawals or cash advances, and splitting the total cost of purchases into multiple transactions to avoid the requirements of any PayAssu policy. Corporate credit cards must not be used with prohibited merchants, as outlined in PayAssu's purchasing and procurement policies. Cardholders must retain original receipts of all transactions and submit them to the PayAssu Finance Department within 3 business days of the expense being incurred. An exception will apply to events or travel that take the cardholder away from the PSU office. In such an instance, all receipts must be submitted to the finance department within 3 business days of the cardholder's return. Each receipt must be noted on the back as to the reason for the purchase and include the cardholder's name, the names of those entertained if applicable, and the specific associated department. Cardholders who travel must either bill daily expenses to the corporate card or claim them as per diem rates. They may not bill daily expenses to both. Lost or stolen corporate credit cards must be reported and canceled immediately to the PSU credit card supplier and the PSU finance department. Cardholders are responsible for ensuring that purchases made using corporate credit cards meet all purchasing criteria outlined in PSU's applicable purchasing guidelines. Cardholders are responsible for the security of their assigned credit card and must immediately report any loss or theft to the finance department and the credit card issuer. Cardholders must retain original receipts for all expenses charged to the company credit card and submit them with a completed expense report according to expense reporting procedures. Cardholders are responsible for reviewing their monthly credit card statements and ensuring all charges are legitimate and accurate. Any discrepancies must be reported immediately to the finance department. Cardholders must comply with this policy's terms and conditions and related procedures. Corporate credit card expenses must be reconciled with the PSU Finance Department within 5 days of the credit card statement date. Finance will provide managers, supervisors, or senior authorities with reconciled monthly statements for authorization. Cardholders may not authorize their statements. All purchases on corporate credit cards without original receipts are the cardholder's responsibility for reimbursement to PSU. Expenditures not supported by receipts will be deducted from the cardholder's pay. Expense reports must be submitted monthly within 30 days of incurring expenses using PSU Energy's designated expense reporting system. Reports must include detailed expense descriptions supporting documentation like receipts and appropriate account coding. The cardholder's manager, supervisor, or senior authority must verify and authorize all monthly transactions. The manager, supervisor, or senior authority must also ensure that all credit card transactions are business-related and that the cardholder provides all supporting documentation. Any suspicious or unusual transactions must be reconciled with the cardholder immediately and referred to the finance department. The cardholder's manager, supervisor, or senior authority must also ensure that the cardholder signs monthly statements and correctly files them and their attached documentation. Supervisors are responsible for reviewing and approving expense reports for their direct reports. Cardholders may order from a supplier in person by fax or telephone or by email. Purchases made via the internet and websites are generally discouraged. If no other avenue is available, cardholders may make online purchases only if the site uses appropriate encryption. Sufficient budget funds must be available to cover all purchases made on corporate credit cards. Expenditures shall not exceed maximum transaction limits, individual credit limits, and/or monthly credit limits. PSU reserves the right to conduct random audits of cardholder purchases and monthly statements by internal or external auditors. The PSU credit card supplier and the cardholder shall reconcile disputed transactions. Cardholders must immediately notify the credit card supplier and the PSU Finance Department for resolution. Disputed transactions in arrears for greater than 2 months will be brought to the attention of the PSU Finance Department for further action. Requests for lost, stolen, or damaged credit cards must be referred to the PSU Finance Department. The PSU credit card supplier typically coordinates card replacement. For corporate credit cards that are due to expire, cardholders will receive a replacement in advance. Old cards must be returned to the Finance Department for immediate destruction. The cardholder must sign the replacement card immediately upon receipt. Before termination of employment or job duties requiring corporate credit card use, each cardholder must reconcile all expenditures on their card. Ensure that credit card accounts are reconciled before departing from employment. Surrender their corporate credit card to the PayAsu Finance Department. Suppose any corporate credit card transactions appear after termination of employment that are personal and/or business-related, but no original receipts have been provided. In that case, such amounts will be deducted from any final payments owed to the employee or will result in legal action against the former cardholder. Any violation of this policy may result in disciplinary action, including termination of employment. Violations may also have legal consequences. Failure to comply with the conditions outlined in this policy can result in one or more of the following actions: cancellation of the card, loss of corporate credit card privileges, and/or termination of employment. The Finance Department will periodically review and update this policy to ensure its effectiveness and compliance with applicable laws and regulations. Employees acknowledge that they have read and understood the corporate credit card policy. They agree to adhere to this policy and will ensure that they know that if they violate the rules or procedures outlined in it, they may face disciplinary action, up to and including termination of employment. They will also be required to reimburse any misappropriated funds. Please contact the Finance Department for questions or concerns regarding this policy.